Hello and welcome to this video on turning your hops into pelletized hops. As a rule, the use of hops in beer making is almost unavoidable. The typical approach is to use commercially available hops that are sold in pellet form. This is fine, but if you grow your own hops, it isn't as easily possible. But it does mean you can turn your own hop cones into pellets. The advantage of hops in pellet form is that you get less of the unwanted vegetative smell and taste. As much as some people may think the smell and taste of wet dog is pleasurable, it's certainly a very unique and acquired preference. And by comparison to that unique sense of taste, you can easily measure out pelletized hops by weight. They take up less volume and are mostly stable by comparison to the fresh, moist and less stable whole hops cones. And this is one reason why they are sold that way commercially. The process for this begins with a simple requirement. You need to dry out the hops cones. You need them to be completely dried. Any residual moisture will make the next steps that much harder. It is important to slowly and carefully dry the hops over time. If you take this too fast, you will remove the essential oils that give aroma and the acids that provide taste. A typical time frame is about a week. That is with typical air conditions, although then again typical air conditions will vary, but let's just assume for now that that's a nice baseline reference. If it is more or less humid, airflow is better or worse, and temperature differences, this can be much more and a little bit less. Remembering again, you don't want to take it too fast, so cutting it too far down in terms of time is actually a detriment. And next, you can take out your frustration at either having to wait or being single. You grind the dry hops into powder. The smaller the powder particles and more consistent the powder is, the easier it is to make a pellet. Grinding for too long will get you in trouble, both when making pellets and when in the company of people. Too much grinding leads to something less like powder and more like dust. It's just going to be too light. Ultimately, something between sugar granules and flour is a good goal. You may find that you need to go either a bit longer or cut the grinding process a bit shorter depending on how your hops pellets come together in the next step. And now we have the pellet making step as everything so far has been in preparation for. The powder is then transferred to a pellet alcove, and this is what presses the powder into tight pellets. During the process, basically, you end up with these solid sausage, very thin sausage or pencil type shaped structures. And these are then added to your beer, or at that point in time, your wort for making beer, where due to the heat and moisture, you release all the necessary aromas and flavors. Now, on a commercial scale, this is done using large hydraulic presses, it's using heat, it's all sorts of exotic and exciting equipment that most people aren't going to have access to. So, for the average home-based brewer, this isn't really viable, and we have to try something a little different, but also vaguely similar. To make your own pellets, we found a pellet making mold on Thingiverse, for which you can find the link in the description. If you don't have a 3D printer, you can also make a similar device with a drill press and saw. You drill a thin hole all the way through the wood block and then cut the block in half to create two sides of semicircular recesses. It's very simple in theory, it takes a little bit of finesse to get right, as you may not necessarily always cut it exactly straight. With your, in this case, pellet press, you pour your powder into a bowl and then with a few drops of water for this size of mixture, but larger quantities will need more water, you stir this together until it forms a very dry paste. Place this on top of the press and press it down slightly, and then gradually pressing it with more pressure. You'll then want to move this forward and basically run it along the length of it, almost stretching out what you placed on it. This should create a long thin cylinder. Now you lift up the top piece of your mold, you then tap the bottom mold upside down to drop out the rolled long thin pellet sections. Put these to a side and collect up any of the bits that are still spilt and haven't formed into the pellet sections yet. Now you take the bits that you've just removed and you cut them into shorter sections that are easy to use and roughly the right size. You're looking at somewhere around, say, a fingernail length, a couple of centimeters or not quite half an inch in length. Now you can dry these again if you wish, and that's generally a good idea if you want to ensure a long-term stability. In terms of why you want to do this, well, we've been through some of the more obvious things. The ease of being able to, say, make your pellets and then put them into pre-measured quantities, so you can then easily dump them straight into your beer, and that's it, no more thinking required. In other cases, for storage purposes, they are pellets and they're relatively solid and stable, so they won't break down or do anything weird. But in terms of long-term storage, well, hops pellets, at least at room temperature, will keep mostly stable for between 2 and 3 years. Now, this isn't always going to work out, particularly if you live in, say, warmer environments, if you don't have them in vacuum-sealed containers, and they're not kept in somewhere that's cool and dark. Oxidation is not your friend here. One of the problems with oxidation, and one of the reasons why fresh hops is something of a, let's say, a bit of a albatross, is that it will produce that wet dog or grass type flavour, that vegetative taste and aroma. So really, you want to avoid that. You want to keep it as close to refrigerator temperatures as you can. You can keep your hops in a refrigerator or a freezer, but arguably speaking, the colder you keep them, the longer you can store them, up to a point. Standard, let's say, domestic refrigeration and freezer temperatures, you'll be fine. If you're going to something more industrial, then you're getting into more dangerous territory. So let's just assume for now that you're working with a standard home-based freezer. This means you're getting somewhere, say, negative 20 degrees Celsius at most. At that temperature, the hops will stay fresh in pellet form for up to 6 years. Some of the, let's say, more unstable or more aromatic and, let's say, nuanced hops will be a little less time, maybe 4 years. But if you want a nice range, 4 to 6 years is about what you can look at. Again, though, you are having to consider the fact that, well, you've done a lot of work to this. So you may not get that full time frame depending on how dry it is. We will point this out now that there is, let's say, a degree of argument over which of these is better for storage purposes, pellets or whole hops. We would argue that the pellets are somewhat easier as they are easier to stack, they're more predictable if you weigh them out beforehand, and everything is just a little bit easier, whereas whole fresh hop cones are a little more difficult to work with. Not necessarily worse, but a little more difficult in many respects. If you want to go from having, let's say, bags upon bags of hops that are ready to go but no immediate use for them, this is how you can make your own hops as a pellet form. It provides some ease of use and storage while not necessarily keeping it as long when kept at room temperature. But it is by contrast much easier to store for much longer by freezing, and much easier to organize, as you're no longer looking at these odd and awkwardly shaped bundles of hops cones, or rather relatively easily stored and organized bundles of pellets, which may or may not look questionable. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And please do post any comments, questions, or suggestions that you have below.